August 6th. One plane, one bomb. Everything gone. Japanese officers got the report. It made zero sense. Thousands dead? One city destroyed? Impossible. They thought someone was lying. Communications broken. False alarm, maybe. But then more reports came. Same story, worse details. Officers started panicking. What weapon could do this? What they discovered next, nobody expected it. August 6th, 1945. Early morning. A single American plane flew over Japan. Nobody knew what was about to happen. The pilot carried something different, something nobody had ever seen before, a weapon unlike anything in history. Japanese commanders were waiting in their offices. They had no idea, absolutely no idea. Then the message came through. One city, gone. Completely gone. Officers stared at the telegram. They read it again and again. Was this real? Could this actually happen? One bomb destroyed everything? That's impossible. That's completely impossible. They thought someone made a terrible mistake. Maybe the radio operator was confused. Maybe the message got mixed up. Officers looked at each other with confusion. Nobody understood what this telegram meant. They needed answers right now. One plane, one bomb, one city vanished. The first report came from Hiroshima. Japanese military officers read the words carefully. A bright light appeared in the sky. Then, everything disappeared. The whole city, thousands of people, buildings, streets, everything gone in 1 second. Officers couldn't believe it. They had never heard of anything like this before. Military commanders started asking questions. How many bombs? Where did they come from? How did the Americans do this? What kind of weapon is this? The answers never came fast enough. Officers were getting scared, really scared. They called emergency meetings. Scientists and generals sat together, trying to understand, trying to figure out what happened. Some officers thought maybe the report was wrong. Maybe it was damaged information. Maybe someone panicked and wrote crazy things. But more messages kept coming in, all saying the same thing. Hiroshima was destroyed. Everything was gone. The officers' faces turned white. Was this really just one bomb? Military headquarters demanded more information. They needed details, real details, not rumors, not guesses, actual facts about what happened. Reports started arriving from survivors, people who escaped the city. Their stories were terrifying. They described a massive explosion, a light brighter than the sun, a heat that burned everything. People's skin melted, buildings turned to dust, trees just vanished. It was like the end of the world. Officers listened to these stories. Their hands started shaking. This wasn't a normal bomb. Normal bombs made craters. Normal bombs destroyed buildings. But this was different. This was something worse, much worse, way worse than anything they expected. The officers realized this wasn't a mistake. The telegram wasn't confused. The report wasn't wrong. This really happened. Hiroshima really was gone. A single bomb did this. One weapon, one explosion, everything destroyed. Not a normal bomb. Something else. Something new. Japanese generals called an emergency meeting. The room was completely silent. Nobody spoke. Nobody moved. They were all thinking the same thing. What is this weapon? Where did it come from? Can America make more? Will more cities get destroyed? General Masao Yoshizumi looked at the map. Hiroshima was a major city, important, strategic. Now it was gone, just gone. He thought about Tokyo, about Osaka, about other cities. Were they next? The generals realized something very important, something that changed everything. Japan was losing this war, badly. They already knew this, but now it was different. America had a weapon that could destroy entire cities in 1 second, one bomb. No defense against it, no way to stop it, no escape. The generals looked at each other, fear in their eyes, real fear, deep fear. They knew Japan couldn't win anymore. What would happen to Japan now?
Scientists tried to explain the explosion. Japanese physics experts studied the reports. They were confused too. They said it was impossible. A bomb that big doesn't exist. It can't work that way. But the evidence was real. The destruction was real. The dead people were real. Thousands of them, gone. Scientists started thinking hard, really hard. One young scientist spoke up. He said something crazy. He said it might be an atomic bomb, a nuclear weapon. Others laughed at first. That's science fiction. That's not real. That's not possible. But deep down, they knew. They knew something terrible had happened, something they didn't understand, something beyond their knowledge. The scientists couldn't stop thinking about it. An atomic bomb, nuclear power, a new kind of war. Emperor Hirohito received the news. The Japanese leader sat quietly. He understood what this meant. Japan's military was strong, but they couldn't fight this. Nobody could fight this. One bomb, one city, gone forever. The emperor thought about his people, millions of them. In other cities, were they safe? Would more bombs come? The emperor called his advisors, old men, wise men, men who had seen many wars. Even these experienced leaders had no answers. They didn't know what to do. They didn't know how to protect Japan. They didn't know if more bombs would come. The emperor realized something. Japan couldn't win. Not against this weapon. Not against America. The military leaders had been wrong. They said Japan would win. They said the soldiers were brave enough to fight forever. But bravery doesn't stop atomic bombs. Courage doesn't stop nuclear weapons. The emperor understood. Surrender might be the only choice left. Would the emperor surrender Japan? 3 days passed. August 9th. Another report came in. Another city. Another explosion. Nagasaki. Gone too. Just like Hiroshima. 2 cities. 2 atomic bombs. 2 massive explosions. Japanese officers couldn't believe it. They thought maybe it was a one-time thing. Maybe America only had one bomb. One terrible bomb. But they were wrong. America had more. Maybe many more. Officers started panicking. Really panicking. Some wanted to keep fighting. Keep going. Never surrender. But others knew the truth. They knew Japan was finished. Done. Over. The military leaders argued with each other. Some wanted war. Some wanted peace. Some wanted surrender. Some wanted to keep fighting until the end. The arguments got loud. Very loud. Voices raised. Faces red. Everyone scared. Everyone confused. Everyone understanding that Japan's time was running out. The window of choices was closing. Fast. Very fast. They had to decide soon, before more bombs fell, before more cities disappeared, before more people died. 2 bombs. 2 cities. More coming? Soviet Union declared war on Japan. On the same day, August 9th, Russia joined the fight against Japan. This made everything worse. Much worse. Japan was fighting America. America with atomic bombs. Now Japan was also fighting Russia. Russia with a huge army. Millions of soldiers. Japan was surrounded now. Trapped. Fighting on 2 sides. The military leaders knew this meant the end. The absolute end. They couldn't fight America and Russia. Not at the same time. Not with atomic bombs falling. Not with giant armies marching toward them. General Umezu spoke up. He said surrender was necessary. Surrender now, before it's too late, before millions more die. Other generals disagreed. They wanted to fight. They wanted to defend Japan. They wanted honor and glory. But honor doesn't stop bombs. Glory doesn't matter when cities burn, families die, children disappear. The argument continued back and forth. But time was running out fast. Everyone could feel it. Pressure building, tension rising. A decision had to be made. What choice would Japan make? Emperor Hirohito made his decision. He would surrender. He would end the war. He would save Japan from more destruction. The military leaders heard the news. Some accepted it. Some refused. Some cried. Some stayed silent. The emperor's voice was calm. He explained why surrender was necessary. He said more atomic bombs would come. He said Russian soldiers would keep advancing. He said millions more would die if the war continued. He said Japan had to survive. The people had to survive. The nation had to survive. Surrender was the only way. The military leaders finally agreed. Not all of them, but enough. The order went out. Stop fighting. End the war. Prepare for surrender. Soldiers received the message. After years of fighting, after millions of deaths, after all the pain and suffering, it was over. The war was ending. Japan was surrendering, not because they wanted to, but because they had to. Because one bomb changed everything. Because atomic weapons changed history. Surrender. The only choice left. War ends.
August 15th, 1945. The emperor spoke to his people. On the radio, his voice was serious, sad, heavy. He told them the war was over. The fighting had stopped. Japan surrendered. People listened in silence. Some cried. Some felt relief. Some felt shame. But they all understood. Life was changing. Everything was different now. The emperor explained about the new weapon, the atomic bomb. He said it made continued fighting impossible. He said millions would have died. He said surrender was necessary to save Japan. He said the people had to rebuild, had to recover, had to survive. The people accepted it. They didn't have a choice. The war was over. Atomic bombs ended it. One bomb, 2 cities, changed history forever. Changed the world. Changed everything that came after. Japan would never be the same. The world would never be the same. Atomic weapons existed now. They were real. They were powerful. They could destroy civilizations. How would the world change after this? Officers reflected on what happened. They thought about the decisions they made. They thought about the bombing campaigns. They thought about the war. They thought about Hiroshima, about Nagasaki, about the people who died, about the cities that disappeared. They realized something important. War had changed forever. Atomic weapons changed warfare, changed strategy, changed everything about combat. One bomb could now do what thousands of bombs used to do. One explosion could destroy entire cities. Millions of people could die instantly. Officers understood that war now meant something different. It meant possible destruction of civilization itself. It meant the end of everything. The game had changed. The rules had changed. Victory didn't matter anymore if everyone was dead. The old military thinking was worthless now. Generals couldn't plan like before. Soldiers couldn't fight like before. Everything was different. The atomic bomb made war unthinkable, made it terrifying, made it impossible to win. This knowledge spread to every military in the world. War changed forever. Atomic weapons changed everything. America became a superpower overnight. One weapon, that's all it took. One bomb, two cities. Suddenly, America was the strongest nation on Earth. Nobody could fight them. Nobody could stand against atomic weapons. Other countries realized this immediately. They understood America's power. They understood they had to respect America. Some countries started their own nuclear programs. Britain, France, Soviet Union. Everyone wanted atomic bombs. Everyone wanted this power. Everyone wanted to be safe from atomic weapons. The world became divided. Countries picked sides. Countries started building weapons. Lots of weapons. Nuclear weapons. It was an arms race. A competition. Who could build more bombs? Who could build bigger bombs? Who could build better bombs? It lasted for decades. 50 years. 70 years. Maybe longer. All because of what happened on August 6, 1945. All because of Hiroshima. All because one bomb showed the world what atomic weapons could do. That one moment, that one explosion, that one decision to use the atomic bomb changed history. How many bombs would the world eventually build? Other nations raced to develop nuclear weapons. The Soviet Union worked hard, really hard. They wanted their own atomic bomb. They didn't want America to be the only superpower. They didn't want America to be the only nation with this power. Scientists worked day and night, year after year. Finally, in 1949, the Soviets created their first atomic bomb. Now both superpowers had nuclear weapons. This made the world more dangerous, much more dangerous. The United States and Soviet Union started competing, building more bombs, building bigger bombs, building deadlier bombs. Thousands of nuclear weapons were created, tens of thousands, enough to destroy the world multiple times, enough to kill billions of people, enough to end human civilization. All of this started because of Hiroshima, because officers couldn't believe the first reports, because one bomb destroyed one city, because the world saw what atomic weapons could do. And countries decided they needed these weapons too, to protect themselves, to stay powerful, to survive. The arms race lasted for decades, until the Soviet Union fell. Nuclear arms race. Weapons everywhere. World became more dangerous. Today, 9 countries have nuclear weapons. 9. Thousands of bombs, enough power to destroy Earth many times over, all because of that one day. August 6th, 1945. That one bomb, that one decision, changed everything, changed how wars are fought, changed how countries relate to each other, changed international politics, changed diplomacy, changed everything about human civilization. Nations can't fight each other directly anymore. Not with nuclear weapons everywhere. Not with this level of destruction possible. So they fight differently. Through smaller wars, through proxy wars, through other methods. But the threat remains, the danger remains, the atomic bomb remains. Military officers around the world study what happened at Hiroshima. They study what happened at Nagasaki. They study how one weapon changed history, changed warfare, changed the entire world. They understand that nuclear weapons are different. They understand that these weapons are too dangerous, too powerful, too destructive. They understand that using nuclear weapons means the end of civilization, the end of everything. This is what Japanese officers learned. This is what the world learned. This is what everyone must remember. Will humanity ever use atomic bombs again. Japanese officers never forgot what they learned that day. The day Hiroshima was destroyed. The day they received a report that made no sense. The day everything changed. They learned that one weapon could change history. One bomb, one explosion, one moment changed the course of human civilization forever. They learned that war was different now, that military strategy had to change, that diplomacy had to change, that the world had to change. They learned that power wasn't about armies anymore. It was about atomic weapons. It was about the ability to destroy. It was about the threat of total destruction. This knowledge spread to every military leader, every government leader, every person in the world. Everyone understood. Atomic weapons were real. Atomic weapons were powerful. Atomic weapons were terrifying. This is why we remember Hiroshima. This is why we remember Nagasaki. This is why we remember August 6th, 1945. Because one bomb, one day, one decision changed everything. Changed us. Changed the world. Changed history. Forever. One bomb changed everything. Forever. Always. Always. Japanese military response to the atomic bomb shaped history forever. Hiroshima bombing reaction revealed first-hand accounts of destruction. Japanese officers witnessed atomic bomb impact during WWII. Eyewitness testimony exposed the true cost of war. Japan's atomic bomb reaction forced surrender. Hiroshima bombing first-hand accounts documented unprecedented devastation. Atomic bomb history in Japan remains unforgotten. This moment changed everything. Changed warfare. Changed the world. Remember Hiroshima. Remember what happened. Remember why it matters today.